everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. I'm really excited to be with you today for lesson 6 in the Choose Health, Food, Fun, and Fitness curriculum. My name is Hannah and I am a nutrition educator with Cornell Cooperative Extension of Jefferson County. And today we are going to be talking about how to power up your day by eating breakfast. Before we jump into that though, I want to hear about what you decided to set as one of your goals for when you eat out. Another meal we eat in a hurry. I'm glad that you all are continuing to set your goals and stick to them. As always, we'll be setting more goals at the end of this lesson, but remember to keep learning and practicing what we've talked about in all of our classes. Great, before we get started, I have a game for us to play, and it's called Stretch Like an Animal. So I'm going to call out a different animal and we're all going to move and stretch in a way we think that animal would. So let's start with an owl. How would an owl stretch? I think by turning its head side to side, maybe flapping its wings a little bit. Oh, that feels good. All right, what about an elephant? How would an elephant move? What about a giraffe? Maybe it would get up really tall, trying to reach the leaves on the top of the tree to eat them. Very good. What's another animal you can think of? What about a bear? Yeah, maybe it moves really nice and big. Maybe you get down on the ground and you would crawl around a little bit. Awesome. What about a flamingo? Yeah. I don't know if you can see, but if you pull one leg up, can you balance on one leg like a flamingo does? I guess maybe its wings are going to be tucked into the side here. That's kind of hard. Awesome. What other animals could you pretend to stretch like? Great. So now we are going to go ahead and talk about how you can power up your day to have lots of energy to move like whatever animal you feel like being today. Now I want to hear, what do you like to eat for breakfast? Go ahead and call it out to me. Those all sound delicious. Breakfast is one of my favorite meals of the day because there's so many delicious breakfast foods that you can eat. One of my favorites though is to have eggs and toast with some garlic spinach on it. You're making me hungry just thinking about it. So you've probably heard that eating breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I'm going to call out some statements about eating breakfast, and if you think it's a true statement, I want you to stay standing, and if you think it's a false statement, go ahead and sit down like this. All right? Are you ready? Breakfast gives me energy and helps me feel full during the day. That's right, that's a true statement, so we can stay standing. What about breakfast makes me feel sleepy and tired? Yeah, I'm gonna sit down for this one because I feel like eating breakfast always energizes me and makes me feel good. What about breakfast turns your hair green? That'd be kind of silly. A lot of us would be walking around with green hair all week long. What about breakfast has a lot of really delicious options? That's right, you can stay standing for this one because we just talked about some of the delicious things that you like to eat for breakfast. Awesome. What about breakfast makes you grow an extra finger? That would be another silly one too. Thank you so much for standing up and sitting down with some of these fun statements. Now we're going to talk about why those statements are true and why some of them are false. So breakfast gives us the energy we need to start our day, and it also helps us pay attention and learn. Eating breakfast can also help us get foods that our bodies need to grow and be healthy. So let's talk about what makes a healthy breakfast. Do you remember the My Plate and the 5 food groups? I bet you do. We've been talking about it a lot. So a healthy breakfast includes either a fruit or a vegetable, something from the grain group, and either something from the protein group or something from the dairy group. So now let's practice making some healthy breakfasts. What is missing from this breakfast? We have some whole grain toast and an egg. So we have something from the grains group and the protein group. So what could we add to make this a healthy breakfast? That's right, we could add some fruit. So if I add a banana, it's a healthy breakfast. Just like with any other meal, a healthy breakfast includes at least one vegetable or fruit. Remember when we used food cards to practice making healthy plates for the whole day? Remember, we needed at least one fruit or vegetable with every meal to make sure we were getting the recommended amount. Who remembers how much that was? That's right, that was 1.5 cups of fruit and 2.5 cups of vegetables. So here's what this could look like. Remember, you could have a 1/2 cup of strawberries, a 1/2 cup of applesauce, and 1 pear. And that would be your recommended amount of fruit for the day. For vegetables, it could look like having some baby carrots, having some sweet potatoes, some black beans, some broccoli, and some delicious corn on the cob. And remember, we also wanted to make sure that we are eating the rainbow of vegetables. Remember when we talked about how many different colors there were? That's right, so we've got some orange vegetables, we've got some dark green vegetables, we've got some beans, and remember, beans were special because they are both a vegetable and a protein, and they give you lots of fiber. And we also have some yellow corn on the cob. What colors are we missing? That's right, we don't have any red vegetables right now. What's an example of a red vegetable that we could have in a day? That's right, bell peppers would be an excellent example. Who knows where the word breakfast comes from? Right, it comes from 2 words, break and fast. Because overnight when we're not eating or drinking anything, that's known as a fast. And then in the morning when we eat breakfast, it breaks that fast. Therefore, we have the word breakfast. We need breakfast to fuel our day, especially long-lasting energy foods. Sugar might give us energy if we eat it in the morning, but usually only for a short period of time. And we might be feeling tired or hungry before we even make it through the morning. So it's important to choose long-lasting energy foods that will help us feel alert and strong all the way into lunchtime. Examples of these might be milk or cheese from the dairy group, nuts, eggs, meat, or beans from the protein group. What's missing from this breakfast? We have a piece of fruit as a nectarine, and we have an English muffin from our greens group. What can we add to make this a healthy breakfast? Right, we could add something from the protein or the dairy group. So this could look like 2 tablespoons of peanut butter from the protein group or a glass of milk on the side. When we have something from the protein group or the dairy group, it helps us to not get hungry or tired before lunchtime. What are some other examples of foods from the protein group that you might like to have for breakfast? Those are all really great examples. You might have also said some beans, some peanut butter or other nuts. I sometimes like to put walnuts in my oatmeal. Maybe some eggs, or maybe some lean breakfast sausage. Those are all great examples of other breakfast foods from the protein group. Now, what about the dairy group? What are some examples of breakfast foods from the dairy group? Yeah, great examples. So maybe you said some yogurt or a glass of milk. You could also have cheese on your eggs as part of the dairy group. Whole grains are especially healthy and they help us feel full longer. Who remembers how to find out if a food had healthy whole grains in it? That's right. You could look at the ingredients list and try to find the word whole near the top of the list. You could also look at the fiber and pick a product that has more fiber in it, because the fiber is what will help us feel full for longer and keeps our tummies happy and healthy. So what are some examples of grain foods that you might like to eat for breakfast? Awesome. You might have said some whole grain cereal, or maybe you said some oatmeal, or maybe you said toast. As you remember, there's a lot of really delicious whole grain foods that we could be eating for breakfast. So a healthy breakfast has something from either the vegetable or the fruit group, something from the grains group up here, and then something from either the protein or the dairy group. We also want to choose something that doesn't have a lot of sugar in it. So speaking of sugar, do you remember from our very first time together when we talked about sugary drinks and healthy drinks? Yeah. So who remembers what are our go drinks that we need a lot of to stay happy and healthy? Right. Those are going to be our low-fat milk and water. What about our slow drinks? So remember, our slow drinks are drinks that have some nutrients in them, but they also have a lot of sugar in them. What are our slow drinks? That's right, our slow drinks are 100% fruit juice and flavored milk. Now, what about our stop drinks? These are going to be the drinks that we don't want to drink very often because they have a lot of sugar in them and no nutrients. So these are going to be our drinks like soda and other sugary beverages, especially juice that isn't 100% are going to be our stop drinks. Now I need some help training for the Breakfast Olympics. Do you think you could help me? Awesome. Before we start training, let's remember what we talked about today. A healthy breakfast includes something from either the fruit or the vegetable group, something from the grain group, and either a protein food or a dairy food. We should also remember everything else we've talked about during our time together. So whole grains are healthy for us and we should be eating more of them. Dietary fiber helps us keep us feeling full. We don't want to eat a lot of added sugar or saturated fat or sodium. All right, are you ready to get training? Our first event, the cereal scramble. We have to look at 3 different cereals and decide which ones we could choose for a healthy breakfast. So first off, we're going to see how much sugar is in each serving and how much fiber is in each serving. So let's get started with our first contestant. I want you to take a look at this. Tell me how much sugar is in one serving. That's right. There are 15 grams of sugar. Now, what about fiber? How many grams of fiber are in this cereal? Excellent job! Only 1 gram of fiber. Let's go up to contestant number 2. See if it has less sugar and more fiber than the Fruit Loops. How many grams of sugar are in 1 serving of this cereal? That's right, there are 8 grams of sugar in this cereal. How about total fiber, also called dietary fiber? Exactly, there are 2 grams of dietary fiber in this cereal. So this is more fiber and less sugar than our previous option. So we are on the right track. Let's take a look at our next cereal. How many grams of sugar are in 1 serving? That's right, there is only 1 gram of sugar. That's great. And how many grams of fiber are there? Exactly, there are 3 grams of fiber. So that is more fiber than either of our other 2 options and less sugar. So for our cereal scramble, the healthiest breakfast is Cheerios because it only has 1 gram of sugar and has 3 grams of fiber. So it will help us get off to a healthy start. For a bonus question, what foods could you add to a bowl of Cheerios to make it a healthy and complete breakfast? Exactly. So Cheerios are a grain. So we just need to add a protein or a dairy and a fruit or a vegetable. So we could add some fat-free milk and some sliced fruit like is in the picture. Great job. Now it's time for our next event. Breakfast on the Run Sprint. We are going to compare 2 breakfasts and find out which one is healthier and will give us the energy we need to get through the day. So we're going to find out which breakfast waffle has more fiber, less sugar, and less fat. Let's take a look at the first one. How many sugars are in these chocolatey chip muffin waffles? That's right, you can see here there are 12 grams. How much fiber? There's only 1 gram of fiber in these waffles. And last of all, can you find how much total fat is in these? Exactly, there are 9 grams. So let's take a look at our next option and see if it is healthier. Here we have Nutri-Grain low-fat waffles. So how many grams of sugar are in this waffle? That's right, there are only 3 grams. How about our dietary fiber? How many grams of dietary fiber? That's right, there are 3 grams in this as well. And what about total fat? How many grams of total fat are in these waffles? That's right, there are 2.5 grams. So which one of these waffles was a healthier option? That's right, the low-fat whole grain waffles are a healthier option. Great job! Welcome back to our last event, the Rethink Your Drink Dash. In this event, you're going to have to think all the way back to our first time together to categorize these different beverages into the go, slow, and stop categories. So remember, our go drinks are the drinks that have a lot of nutrients for us and no added sugar. Our slow drinks are going to be our drinks that have some vitamins and minerals, but also have a lot of sugar. And our stop drinks are going to be our drinks with no nutritional value and a lot of added sugar. So our very first up today is we have 100% juice. Which category does 100% fruit juice belong in? That's right, it is a slow drink because it's got some vitamins in it, but it also has a lot of sugar. What about water? What category does water go in? That's right, this is a go drink. Our bodies need water to stay happy and healthy. So we should be drinking it all day long. What about sports drinks? What category do sports drinks belong in? Remember, this is a little bit of a tricky one. That's right. These are a stop drink because they have lots of sugar in them. So when we're being active, we should mostly be drinking water to stay hydrated. What about flavored milk? We have our strawberry milk here. What category does strawberry milk belong in? Exactly, this is a slow drink because it's got calcium in it, which helps our bones grow strong, but it also has a lot of added sugar. So what about our low-fat or fat-free milk? Exactly, this is a go drink because it has all that calcium for our bones and no added sugar. Our last one is soda. What category does soda belong in? That's right, soda is another stop drink because it has a lot of sugar in it and no nutritional value. Great job! We did it! You took the gold, but you helped me win the silver. Thank you so much for helping me in the Breakfast Olympics. Now let's talk about what we learned. What about the cereal scramble? What surprised you? What was the healthier choice that was low in sugar but high in fiber? That's right, in this case, it was the Cheerios. Which was the less healthy choice, and why was it less healthy? That's right, it was lower in fiber and higher in sugar, so it wouldn't keep us feeling full for very long, and it wouldn't give us energy throughout the day. Were some of the cereals both healthy and unhealthy because they were high in sugar but also high in fiber? Yeah. Cereals that are high in fiber but also high in sugar are like our slow cereals because they have some nutrients but they also have a lot of sugar. So these are ones that we only want to eat once in a while, and most of the time have our go cereals, ones that are high in fiber but low in sugar. And finally, our Think the Drink Dash. What did you think about it? What are some healthy go drinks that you could have for breakfast? We just said one of them. That's right, some low-fat milk would also count as part of your dairy group, and it gives you lots of nutrients. Who remembers what is in milk that is especially good for helping our bones grow? That's right, it's calcium. So what are some slow drinks that you might have in small amounts because they're high in sugar but also high in vitamins? That's right, you could have some 100% fruit juice. And what were your stop drinks? The drinks that if you had them with breakfast would give you energy for only a short amount of time and they wouldn't give you any important vitamins. Right again! Those are our sugary beverages. Now I know why you all got the gold. Now it's time to set a goal for the upcoming week. Choose one of these steps to take a healthier step. You could eat 3 food groups at breakfast. Add fruit to your breakfast every day. Try a new whole grain, low sugar cereal. Eat breakfast every day. Or play a game that you learned today. Remember, that was learning to stretch like different animals. So you could play this with your family and have a whole zoo's worth. Thank you so much for joining Sam and me on this Choose Health, Food, Fun, and Fitness adventure. We've had so much fun meeting you from our kitchens, and we hope you did too. We hope you continue to work on those goals that we've set over these last few weeks. I know I will, and we hope to see you soon.